from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Same-sex marriage is legal but causing controversy in a local Lutheran church. The senior pastor at Messiah Lutheran in North Fargo just resigned after feeling pressure from members of his congregation for not performing same-sex marriages. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Now, Messiah Lutheran is a part of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, the ELCA. Now, they do not condone same-sex marriage. Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop talked with the pastor, who says stepping down has not resolved this issue.
Messiah Lutheran pastor Steve Bernson told his church yesterday he would resign after months of difficulty since the legalization of same-sex marriage. Bernson stated his views in June to his nearly 1,000 worshipers at Messiah.
Based on what the scripture says about God's design for marriage, I would not be able to participate or officiate at same-gender weddings.
Bernson said he decided to step down since his views differed and caused a rift. The Eastern North Dakota Synod Bishop Terry Brandt said in a statement that each congregation of the ELCA has made or will make a decision if they will or will not conduct same-sex marriages. Bishop Brandt goes on to say the majority of our congregations are navigating these difficult conversations quite well. However, there are some settings where the pastor and congregation find themselves at odds. Deeply saddened, this is the case at Messiah Lutheran. Pastor Benson says there has been a cultural change within the church and that he now falls into the minority view regarding same-sex marriage. He thinks that this situation and experience will teach everyone a valuable lesson to be more tolerant.
It does strike me sometimes how little tolerance there is in certain circles for people with biblical views. That has kind of struck me in the midst of all of this.
Bernson has 3 Sundays left at Messiah Lutheran and says only God knows what is next. In Fargo, Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
We reached out to Messiah Lutheran for a statement regarding Pastor Bernson's resignation, but we have not yet heard from them.
The need for a jacket has become commonplace over the last several days. Let's go to Hutch to find out if gloves will be needed soon. Hutch?
Well, as far as needed soon, some may need a little glove first thing in the morning. More 30s are in the forecast for some, but for this evening, it's very quiet. We do have clouds to contend with, but we see some clearing to the north and to the northwest. This evening, our wind is going to shift from a southerly one to a westerly and northwesterly one. The wind remains light. Temperatures most of the remainder of our evening will be in the 50s. So no gloves this evening. But we could need a squeegee. All details on some rain in the forecast coming up here in a moment.
A hodgepodge. All right, thanks.
Indeed. Yep.
The search is over tonight as police have arrested a man wanted in the stabbing in downtown Fargo last Friday. His name is 49-year-old Abdulwahab Asher. He was taken into custody at the Gladys Ray shelter in Fargo. The stabbing happened at the Spicy Pie near 4th Avenue North and Broadway.
One man was arrested after a chase this afternoon in Moorhead. A Moorhead officer noticed a vehicle without any registration driving on 1st Avenue North in Moorhead. When the officer tried to pull over the vehicle, it sped off. A chase began, but the officer backed off when the speed became too high of a risk. Police were able to track down 36-year-old Dustin Stouts. He's currently being held in the Clay County Jail on felony fleeing in the motor vehicle charges, along with several traffic violation charges.
The Lemoore School District was in lockdown today while law enforcement searched for a suspicious male in the area of the school. Lemoore is located about 2 hours southwest of Fargo. Police told the district to go into lockdown as a precautionary measure, but added there was no imminent danger. They're looking for this man, Cody Lee Garaluk. He's described as 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. He wears a green hoodie and blue jeans. Officers say his head is shaved, and they believe he is dangerous. Lemoore School Superintendent Mitch Carlson says the lockdown was lifted at about 2:30 this afternoon. By then, Carlson said officers had called off the search, speculating that Garlick had left town.
Today, the search continues on Lake of the Woods, where 3 young men from Baudette, Minnesota went missing this weekend. Missing are 28-year-olds Keith Ayers, 22-year-old Justin Hogvet, and 24-year-old Cody Ostendorf. The trio's capsized 16-foot boat was spotted floating along the northeast shore of Flag Island Saturday afternoon. The men had been at a resort in Oak Island, and they tried to make the boat trip to nearby Flag Island around midnight on Friday. Today, 5 agencies were searching the water around the area with boats and planes. They were also searching Oak Island on foot, and Flag Island was searched yesterday.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. Keith Ayers, he was a launch driver. He had his license and everything for it, and he was out in the boat constantly, and so were the other 2.
Any idea what could have happened?
Just didn't expect it to be as windy or rough waters.
At this hour, the search on Lake of the Woods continues, and we're going to keep you updated right here and on valleynewslive.com. Today marks the 1-year point since Melissa Eagleshield went missing. Eagleshield was last seen outside her home near Island Lake in Becker County. Search crews looked for Eagleshield months after her disappearance. According to the Becker County Sheriff, the case is still active, so if you have any information on her whereabouts, you're asked to contact the sheriff's office right away.
It comes in second only to buying a home. Paying for college is likely the most significant investment that you'll make. But are you getting all the right information up front? One member of Congress is calling on the Obama administration to make information about college tuition easier to find. The rising cost of college and years later student debt is an issue that Congress is constantly battling. But Senator Mark Warner wants to create a scorecard. It would let prospective students know important information like their chance of graduating in 4 years, average debt, and chances of getting a job after school. Warner says the kind of transparency has helped others in other areas and could really work for students in the long run.
The kind of data we've got now to price airplane tickets or hotels that's made consumers better informed. We could do the same thing with higher education. It's not going to completely solve the problem of higher education, but it's going to allow folks as consumers to put pressure on colleges and universities.
Warner says the Obama administration has made great first steps in releasing this information, but he reiterated that right now people are getting just average figures and they need much more specific ones.
A pedestrian bridge over I-94 in Moorhead is finally getting fixed. You may recall last June a semi was hauling a piece of heavy equipment that hit the bridge and 2 others. Today, the repair work is getting underway. Starting tomorrow night at 6. The westbound traffic lanes will likely be closed, so keep that in mind. And those closures will continue until 6 Wednesday morning. The entire repair job is expected to be completed by December.
Something big and new is dotting the landscape in Glendon, Minnesota. The city is getting a new water tower. It has a capacity of 200,000 gallons. That's much better than the old one, which only had 50,000. City engineer Chris Thorson says when the new tower is up and running, it will mean better water pressure for the community, better fire protection, and it's going to help the city get ahead of expected growth.
It's great to see for the city of Glendon. They've, again, been working on it for quite a while. And they do have a vision for growth for the community, so it's really helped solidify what their infrastructure planning going forward is to be.
Thorson adds there's much more involved than simply putting the tower up and turning on the water. He says, among other things, the tower will need to be painted. He expects it to be up and running next summer.
Well, later on Valley News Live at 6, the machines, they are big and they can be a little scary, but today, the people who operate them showed how friendly they can actually be.
And temperatures today seasonable in Fargo, 62 gorgeous degrees. It was a little cooler across the Northern Valley. We have some rain to talk about and some warmer weather as well. We'll do just that right after this.